working. Alright, it looks like my camera is up. And hopefully it is running appropriately. I have really very little way of knowing. Because I can't turn my... Oh! Look at that. That was great. Because I can't turn my volume up, because if I do, then that can interfere with the audio and give it a nasty feedback. So once I get done destroying my table here, then I guess I can get to work. Alright. So I'm just trying to get my workspace ready here. I haven't really done a live broadcast in a while. First I was busy with hair, and then I was busy with computer issues because I wasn't able to do the live stream thing. So it's been a little bit trying. I hope all of you guys are having a great holiday season. Everybody gets their shopping done. I did, of course, all of ours online because I just can't stand crowds. Alright. I'm going to do a sound quality check real quick. I have to step out to do that, and then I will be back and we'll get started on these babies. Alright. Seems to be okay. I'm not seeing any of the horrible noise that I was getting before, so hopefully that means that this is a good day for my internet and all of my little equipment, and hopefully we'll be able to get some progress going on these babies. So the ones that I'm going to be working on with you guys today are going to be the Harper, or the Harpers. I have 2 of those, and then I have 1 Macy that I'm going to be working on. You guys ever have a day when you feel like it's your first day doing something ever? Well, apparently I'm having one of those days. I've only been doing this for like, going on 8 years now. You would think I would have it together by now. Apparently not. I'm having a clumsy day. But it's fine, because it's snowing here, and I love snow. So once I finish with this, I'm going to take Cookie outside, and we're going to play in the snow a little bit if it's still happening. I don't know how much we're supposed to get, but it's already a dusting on the ground here in Virginia. Alright. So I'm wanting to go a little bit darker with the red. I already put a little bit of pink, the baby pink highlights on the limbs and such. And hopefully you can see that. So I've got a little bit of the baseline pink in there. I've just got to get some more modeling to happen. And then they're going to be well on their way. These guys either get no hair or they get painted hair. And I have some of each. So I'm choosing to use this little bit of a darker red. I think this one is Sweetheart Rose Lips, I believe. And so I think what I'm going to start off with is going to be working on some of the little veins. I mean some of the little details, the wrinkles and such, creases. Maybe I'm at the level I can just take some out of the pot. Once you get down to a certain level with these paints, you actually can use them straight out of the pot. Or the lid, which is what I like to do. And I'm just going to go over all of these little wrinkled areas. Just the little creases. I'm just going to line them, because once you get them lined, you kind of push down the thick paint, then you have a little bit more of a natural crease look. My hubby is working today, so I think I'm going to be dedicating my day to some customer correspondence and, of course, getting these 3 babies closer to getting hair. their painted hair or their detailed scalp. Sometimes this tiny brush can be even just a little bit too small. But at this point, particularly with this baby and the amount of creases that we have to work with, I really don't want to go to a bigger brush because I don't want it to look messy. I want to keep that. Oops, go inside, Cookie. Inside. Go. Inside. So I don't want to end up with messy creases because I'm hoping to be able to keep this really nice paler skin tone for these babies. And you guys can hear probably that Cookie's having a great time with one of his toys under there. I guess he figures since he has to work on a weekend, he's going to bring some things for entertainment. I'm even going to go down between the little toes. Because I want there to be some definition. This is really going to pick up nicely on the camera. And while I'm here, I'm just going to go over it one more time. Around the holidays, when I'm a little more rushed than normal, sometimes I'll go ahead and do a couple of layers of the darker just to keep myself on track. Because you can't afford to get behind at the holidays. So Friday is our big drawing for the New Year's baby. I've actually been working on one that I don't want to tell you guys too much about, but it's super cute. Super, super, super cute. And I think it fits the theme really well. For a New Year's baby. So while I'm thinking about it, if you're tuning in, or if you're watching this as a latent broadcast, make sure if you're attending the online event on the 15th that you have gone in and voted for what you would like the Artist Show Me How portion to be focused on. It looks a little bit divided the last time I saw, so I'd like to get some clarity so I can have some pieces planned to work on. Don't you guys love the ambient noises of my Cookie? So I have to tell you guys a sort of a stressful story. So last year, I decided to offer a couple of the silicone Olivias by Phil Donnelly. She is a wonderful sculptress. And so I offered these as custom babies. And I sold every one that I had up to offer. And I allowed people to do payment plans because, I mean, I get it. The struggle of money is very real. So I like to work with everybody, you know, and give everybody a chance to have something if they want it. So this lady chooses the deposit only option, and she checks out. And so she runs into some struggle paying for her doll. And it's been like almost 8-9 months her doll is ready, and she's only paid half. So, you know, I worked with her, and she was able to get back on track. I didn't sell her baby. I shipped it to her last week after her final payment was made. And the very next day, I get a nasty email telling me that I sent her the wrong doll because she wanted a full body silicone that drinks and wets and turns cartwheels or whatever. And of course I explained to her that's not what you ordered. I'm pretty descriptive in my listings, you know, and I use prototype pictures particularly for babies that I haven't made one of yet because, you know, that's the picture that I have available to use. I also sometimes choose to use the prototype pictures if I feel that it's going to help with kit recognition. But I always leave plenty of detail, and I always have a link back to my work. So she starts on this tangent of sending me links to YouTube videos on the doll that she wanted to buy. And I've tried to explain to her that, you know, for the price difference, you know, like that's a huge consideration. I wasn't offering a full body doll, but if you would like a full body doll, then here's a link where you can go and you can order one if you choose. And then she's like, I wanted my baby to have dark blue eyes. Okay. So I offered for her to send her baby back, and I would change out the eyes to whatever color she liked best, and I would do that free of charge, because I do want my customers to be happy. But it seems at this point like she just wants to try to force me into giving her a full-body silicone doll. And guys, I'm not rich. I can't do that. I can't even afford a silicone doll for myself. I cannot give one away. So this is a lady that in every email up to this point, she has always closed with God bless, thank you, you know. And then we have all of this animosity, and, you know, it just always surprises me. Like, do people not read listings? Because I can't be responsible. I can put it up there, but if somebody doesn't choose to read the entire thing and make sure that they understand the entire thing, because you guys know I'm very available for questions. I'm very available to help educate anybody on anything that they are interested or think they're interested in buying. She never asked any questions. She never asked me if it was a full body silicone. So I had no idea that she even thought that, because it was, you know, it said full silicone limbs and specially made cuddly body with a tummy plate. Now, why would you think that if it's coming with a tummy plate, why would you think that it would be full body? That doesn't make any sense. Why would you put a tummy plate over a completely silicone doll? That doesn't even make any sense to me. And if there was a question, I just wish she would have messaged me. So unfortunately, you know, I basically cut off communication with her. I've left her her options. You know, you either send her back and I'll change the eyes, or, you know, you get on with the day. Either way, I'm not going to deal with harassment. I'm not going to deal with 100 messages a day begging and crying and screaming and, you know, talking about your nervous breakdown because you thought you were getting a full body. I can't control that. Like, I'm sorry that happened to you, but, you know, the best I can say is, why don't you sell her? You know, because I could have sold her to someone else. I didn't, because, you know, I felt like honestly, you guys know I'm a Christian woman, and I've really truly felt that God was asking me to work with her. And so I did. And then this happens. But I still know that it was the right thing to do, so I don't regret that at all. I guess I feel a little disappointed, you know, that this is happening. Because I never like to have anybody that's displeased with their purchase. But at the same time, you know, I can't be in all places at one time, and I certainly can't read the listing for people. But that's been, thankfully, the most of the excitement that I've had this week, which is a really good thing. I had counseling yesterday. That went really well. So, you know, I feel a lot better than I did weeks ago. Even the last time I saw you guys, or you guys saw me, I don't really see you, but I know you're there. I feel so much better. I haven't really had to go, like, lay down because of exhaustion from the anxiety and such in a while. So I'm really super, super thankful for that. I decided to kind of let go, and you know, I've been trying to let go for a while, but you know how we do that. We tell God we'll let go, and then all of a sudden, well, I do anyway, I don't know about you guys, but I'll let go, and then all of a sudden I realize I've taken it back from Him, and I'm now running around like a banshee with it, and I'm worried, and I'm stressed, and, you know, I've kind of brought all of that back into my sphere of thought. So for me, it's always you know, learning to let go and really let go. And that's part of what I've been working on since I've been away from the school. It's just letting go and letting God and trusting. And He has, you know, He has met my needs. He's answered many prayers, so I'm very thankful. And I know that I wouldn't have the capability that I have right now were it not for His hand. So I'm just really, really super thankful. And I've been feeling like I want to submit some pictures of my work to some selected sculptors and see possibly if they need someone else, or they would be interested in allowing me to do some prototype work. You know, that would be like one of my huge goals as an artist achieved if that happens. And I don't know if my work is good enough or at that point yet, but I'm going to submit it and get some feedback and see where I need to go in order to get to that point. So I just think that would be so neat. All right. I don't know if you guys saw the link I put up on Facebook for the Tink by Bonnie Brown. Oh my goodness, that is going to be a complete sellout kit. She is gorgeous. She renders more lifelike in that prototype picture than I've seen a lot of sculpts in a long time. Bonnie Brown is just fantastic. She is one of my absolute favorite sculptors. Her sculpts just have life already in the features. And it's basically, you know, when you have a sculpt like that, it's such a blessing to work with, because you don't have to work to create the illusion of living features. They're inherent in the actual piece. anybody who is out there who is waiting for a silicone, solid, full body silicone baby, if you've already ordered, those are scheduled to go off to be rooted in January. I haven't shown you guys any silicone painting yet, because I basically have to turn over the entire workstation because it's completely different paint. It's everything is different. So I haven't flipped it to show you guys yet, but I haven't forgot about it. I just got overwhelmed with so many orders at once that popped in that I just didn't want to lose momentum on these guys. And I've already started working on, and I'm on track for the silicones. So I'm doing this and getting these, and then I'm going to move back to the silicones. And when I move back to the silicones, then I will show you guys that process. I'm not sure after January and February, I'm not sure if I'm going to offer the full silicones anymore. I might if I find any really cute ones. We'll see. You know, those kits I just can't afford to keep on stock. So, and I wouldn't really want to anyway, because I don't know if you guys know, but with the silicone babies, the faster you get them prepped for work, the better. So I always try to get them out, inspect them, and get them ready to start the work on. And then you know, when I'm not working on them, they're not exposed to air or light or anything. I keep them completely covered up. The only time that they're out of their cases is when I'm actually painting them. Because silicones are a beast in and of themselves. They attract so much lint and dust. And it always amazes me when people say they're going to get this for their 7 or 9-year-old daughter, and I'm like, oh my. You know, I caution against that. Because it's such a financial investment, and, you know, they're not really meant for children. And then I have the people who, you know, are always asking, do I put drink and wet systems in my vinyl dolls? I do not. And I'll tell you guys why. Like, I think that the concept is fantastic. But until I'm able to find a way to do that myself without having the risk of, you know, a component springing a leak in there and creating mold inside the doll, which could cause somebody to get sick, I am not going to offer that. And I have not found a way that I feel confident in that would be safe for people. And I don't want to contribute to anybody having allergies or anything like that. You know, because mold can really do some damage. It can be deadly. It can kill you. And I always, you know, I warn people, you know, particularly the ones that say, why are they so expensive? You know, because I know that, you know, we all shop around to try to get the best deal, and it looks really tempting when you see, you know, a doll out there that's silicone and it's, you know, cheap. But you kind of got to be careful, because a lot of those silicone babies are being imported from China, and they are not made with safe materials. We have no way to know exactly what that doll has in it. And personally, I would rather pay more money and know that it's a safe thing to, you know, have around myself, and, you know, even animals, you know, because you never know. We can't see emissions from everything. It's just like with the vinyl kits, you know, they always have to be phthalate free. And they are nowadays, but that's why I would never buy a kit from overseas, because you don't know. You just don't know. And people will do some shady things in the light of saving some money. But I don't think that's always the best way. haven't found any more of the cloth-bodied silicone. I prefer cloth-bodied silicone babies to work on. You know why? Because the arms and the legs come off of the main unit, and you can hang them up when you're working on them. They can drip a little bit. You don't have to worry so much about, you know, it's hard to handle a full-body silicone. Everybody's like, why does that cost so much more? If you really saw, like, the amount of dexterity you have to have in your body to be able to paint that, you would, you know, people would understand. Definitely. And then I had somebody ask me the other day, so I'll answer it here, you know, why is the price low, and then as soon as I want hair, it pops up? There are two reasons for that. With painted hair, it's because it takes a while. I mean, it really takes a while to get the hair painted appropriately. It's many layers. I mean, you're painting the width of a hair. Imagine, like, that's pretty painstaking work. So it takes time away from other projects to do that. So there has to be, you know, there's a value in that. And then for rooted hair, why is rooted hair so expensive? Well, it's so expensive because for a half an ounce of hair, half an ounce is $38. $38. Because I don't use knockoff hair. Because knockoff hair, it breaks. It looks terrible. It doesn't lay down. And I just, you know, if I'm going to root a doll, or if I'm even going to have the doll rooted by somebody else, it's going to be good quality hair. I don't skimp on the hair. I don't really skimp on anything, truly. It's that whole anal thing. Oh, so I don't think, I haven't talked to you guys. I haven't been able to do this for a little while, but not last night, but last Friday night. You guys probably all know my husband is a firefighter, and he was in a tanker, and he's a captain, so he was up front with his driver, and they were driving along, and they almost rolled over because of an unexpected malfunction. But the really amazing and just gives me chills thinking about it. So I'm home that night, and I had this terrible thought that just came in. And I have anxiety, so I have terrible thoughts a lot. But this one, I was like, what would happen if my husband just didn't come home? What would, you know, oh my gosh, like, what would I do? And it just sent an icy chill through me, and immediately I started to pray for my husband. You know, and I just kept praying for him and praying for him. And about 45 minutes or so, within an hour, after I had that terrible feeling and the thought and all, and I started praying, he sent me a message telling me that they had been in an accident, but that he and the crew and everybody were okay. So, looking back on that, I feel like God was just kind of he was like, okay, pray for your husband, you know. And I used to be really close to this lady, and she used to always tell me, you know, how she would wake up with somebody on her heart in the middle of the night, and she would just get out of bed, get on her knees, and start praying for that person. And I guess that is what ingrained it in me, like when that happens, that, you know, I'd start praying for that person. And I really do believe that, you know, that God touches us with opportunities to lift people up. And I was so overwhelmed, you know, because even when he had messaged me and said, you know, we're okay, well, I thought, because, you know, he's not allowed to give any details or anything like that. So I was thinking that it was probably another vehicle, you know, and I was thinking it was probably just, like a minor thing, but it was a pretty major thing. Like, they could have all died because they literally almost flipped twice. But God kept that fire truck on all its wheels. He said they actually did go up in the air once on one side and once on the other. He said that when it was rolling toward the passenger side, he actually saw the ground coming up. And he said that was just really scary. I would imagine so. And I've been extending my Christmas deadline because I start out with a really, really small, you know, amount of Christmas orders that I'll take, because I don't want to get to the point where I have to work too fast to do a really good job, you know, when somebody's ordering a Christmas baby. I don't want to sacrifice quality for quantity, because I would rather, you know, do a better job on fewer babies rather than rush through just to get the orders going. So I start out with, like, I'm only going to accept this many. And then as I move along through them, you know, when I get to the point where I'm like, okay, now I can accept a few more, then I'll move the deadline out. And then, you know, I just kind of keep doing that until it gets to be just a couple of weeks away from Christmas. And then, of course, I have to take down the Christmas delivery. I'm almost to that point this year. But we are on track, and I say we because I've been blessed in that I have not had to root all the heads I thought I was going to have to root. So thankful that God provided the means for me to be able to bless somebody else with work, you know, particularly the work that I'm not very good at. I'm good at it, I guess, but I'm not very fast at it. And the means were provided to be able to have someone else do the rooting. Because I had someone that was going to do the rooting, but then, you know, I got into a situation with my short-term disability benefits, which never came through, which was the issue. And I had to pull back the work, and I was going to have to basically root everything. And I did root several, but then, you know, things got better, thank you God. And I was able to outsource. So back to the silicone doll lady. I'm just really praying that she will, you know, figure out that it's not what she's insisting that it is. Because basically she's saying that I sent her the wrong doll, and I certainly would never, ever, ever do that. I mean, if that ever happened, it would be a complete mistake, you know, and I would fix it immediately. But I'm pretty focused when it comes to keeping my orders straight and such. I guess I still have a little bit of that issue where I just really don't like people to be unhappy and upset. I like to bring joy and happiness through my work. And comfort, you know, because I think, you know, we all have things that we lean on to comfort us. And I want that to be conveyed through my artistry. You know, I want people to be able to feel the love that's put into these dolls when you pick them up. You know, because it's not just some hobby that I do. You know, I want this work to have meaning. And I want to know that, you know, people are getting comfort and they're getting some joy from their babies that they get from me. That is so important. And I'm, you know, slowly, some ultimate realism things are coming together. I have the touch and sound add-on now that several of you guys have already purchased, which is a baby warmer. It's like an electric blanket type of a device. And of course I'm not manufacturing this, and I'm not creating it. I've found something that can be repurposed for that. And then I'm combining that with a sound box option. And I'm trying to get the sound boxes that are really high quality. The highest I've been able to find. Because the really neat thing is, I don't know if you guys know anything about or are familiar with how our brains work, but basically when we look at, like you guys watching me paint right now, so there's a part of your brain that doesn't know whether I'm painting or you're painting. Okay, so basically your brain kind of perceives everything as, it doesn't know the difference between something that's happening right now and something that you're visualizing or something that you're watching happen. And you can look up more of that. It's basically the mind-body connection. And I had been thinking, like, how can my dolls become more therapeutic? How can they be more helpful? Well, we obviously can affect our body's internal pharmacy with the stimulation that we're giving our brains through all of our senses. So the goal here is that when you hold a baby, first of all, you're seeing the baby that looks very realistic and lifelike. When you pick up that baby and it's been warmed and it's, you know, got that warm baby feel, and then when you hear those baby sounds, my hope is that that will be enough to trigger an oxytocin and dopamine release in your brain. Possibly even some serotonin. As we need those positive chemicals to be flowing through our brains and our bodies. So I feel like it has the potential, and of course it's going to be different for everybody. And if you love dolls and you love babies, and this is something that you enjoy already, that's exponentially a greater chance that you're going to have, you know, a better endocrine system response. Because everything is kind of governed by our endocrine system, our limbic system. Our emotions are so tied to our bodies. There is something in massage therapy called somatical emotional release. Somatic emotional release. Sorry, I'm tongue-tied this morning. And basically that's a release of emotions brought on by the experience of getting a massage. And you guys know I've been a massage therapist for almost 15 years now, maybe, something like that. A long time. When you forget how long, it's been a long time. And so I've always, in my practice, I've always wanted to help people to take control and have an influence over, you know, what was happening in their body. And I've done so through body awareness with massage. You know, when I would bring my clients' attention to a part of their body that was in discomfort, and they would focus on their breath and breathing into that area. Many, many times that can change the game of pain. If you just breathe correctly and you breathe into those areas, and you know, there's a component of visualization as well. You know, when you visualize that breath going into that tightened area, that painful area, that can signal your body to respond by moving into the parasympathetic nervous system, which is your relaxed nervous system. That's the parasympathetic nervous system, is when you're healing, when you are digesting your food and you're not in fight or flight. And the thing is that we humans have really kind of jacked up our limbic system, because we're in some degree of fight or flight almost all the time. You know, and it doesn't have to be a full-on I'm running from a mountain lion. It can be I'm trying to find a parking space at the mall and this lady in front of me is driving me nuts. That's still fight or flight. You still have, you know, a nasty cocktail of not so pleasant chemicals and hormones and such that are boiling through your blood. So being that I think I probably will always be two things, whether I'm actively practicing or not, and that's a massage therapist and, you know, a teacher, I think that I will always gravitate toward creating things that add value to life. And I'm so thankful that I'm coming out of that terrible time of panic attacks and such, and I'm moving into a place now that had become unfamiliar to me, which is feeling relaxed, feeling, you know, like everything's where it's supposed to be. Which brings me to my next topic. So I'm supposed to go back to work at the school in January. But I've really had, some time to think about this, and of course I'm leaving everything in God's hands. But the overall sensation that's resonating within me is, why go back to this place that made you so sick? Because they did. They tore me down pretty good. Which I allowed it because, I loved my job. I loved my students. I still love my students. I still have graduates from 5 years ago that are still in contact with me. Because I care. People just want to be cared about, and I want to be one of those people who care about people really genuinely. Now, people also get on my nerves, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to be hypocritical here. But underneath that, I want to resonate with love. And I want people to benefit from that. But I will say that I prayed, and I still remember praying the prayer 2 years ago, asking God, could you just bless my business and, with doll making, and if that could just be my full-time job, Lord, I would be so happy. But then when it got to the point where, I could have made that choice, I was afraid to. And I mean, my work situation was horrible. It was very abusive. It was, at times, put me in physical danger. But I was white knuckling it and just hanging in there, trying to be there. And then, it just went to the point where I was so broken down that I couldn't even function anymore. And it all happened it was coming obviously for a couple of years, but I literally woke up one morning and could not get myself to get up out of bed. I just felt horrible. And the way I described it to my doctor that day was, I was like, I'm not sure if it's in my mind or if it's in my body. And he said, if it's in your mind, it is in your body, because your mind is, in your body. And that makes so much sense, and I don't know how long I had been pushing down and basically staying in denial about where I was headed with my physical health and my emotional health. But, that was a turning point for me, because I've always been a go-getter. I've always, if I don't feel like getting up and going, I'll go anyway. And there came a time when I just couldn't do that anymore. I couldn't even go in. And it really scared me. It really did. It was very frightening to have had that ability for all of my life, and then all of a sudden, I literally can't do it. It takes that illusion of being in control completely away. And obviously, I've had PTSD since 2008, after the horrible incident. But even during that time, when I was in counseling to be able to live with what had happened, I was still functioning. I was working. I was going to counseling on my lunch breaks twice every week. So to me, this whole thing of literally not being able to go and do what I needed to do or felt I needed to do, that was hard. But it forced me to, I've always believed, that God is in control and everything, but I'm one of those people that I'll give God something and then I want to run right back and take it out of his hands and obsess about it even more. And this situation has really taken me and put me in a place where that was not an option. I couldn't take it back from God. And so you know, I've been thinking about, should I return to campus? And, you know, I pray about it a lot, and I'm like, God, I don't want to make the wrong decision. I want to be where you want me to be. And I want that whether I like it or not. And I really heard almost audibly, but I'm not nuts, so it wasn't completely audible. It was basically this impression came to me. If you go back, what would your reasons be? What would be the reasons that you were going back there? And I really had to think about that a little bit. And finally, the answer that came to me was fear. If I went back there, it would be because of fear. It would be because I would be afraid that, you know, I was doing the wrong thing by, you know, continuing on with my path where I am now. It would be the fear of loss, the fear of judgment from others who might not respect my decision. Just be fear. And then, you know, I think God shows us things sometimes. He basically showed me, you know, you've been well taken care of all of this time. And you've been afraid, but you've been taken care of. Now, what does that say about your faith? If you turn right around and run right back into the place that you begged me to help you to have healed, then that says I don't trust God. That's like saying, thank you, God, for taking care of me for the past 6 months, but, you know, I just don't think you're going to keep taking care of me, so I'm going to have to go back into this abusive situation, you know, and I'm just going to have to do that. And that's not what I want to do. You know, so then I had the other thought, what if my husband doesn't really want me to sever ties with him? What if he begins to resent me for that for some reason? Which logically there's no reason why he would, and you know, I know that he wouldn't, but you know, that thought, just the devil uses what he can. And it worked. You know, I was worried about that. But I sat down with my husband and talked about it, and you know, he's on board for whatever the right thing ends up being. And so if I do return, it's not going to be out of fear. It would be because God called me back there. And so far, He's not. So far, He's met every need. He's quelled every fear. You know, it's almost like waking up out of a state where you're like, I'm so scared I won't make it. I'm so scared I won't make it. I won't make it. What if I don't make it? And then all of a sudden you realize, I'm making it. Like, why are we putting everything in the you know, future tense? I'm making it. God is good, and He's here, and He's blessed my hands many times over in this life. He's blessed them with the ability to touch people in a way that is healing for the body and the spirit. Now He's working through my hands and in this artistry. But I believe both are, you know, bringing healing to His children and bringing glory to His name. And that's what it's really all about. Do you guys ever get tired of hearing me be philosophical? Because I can just imagine, like, I probably seem like a total Fruit Loop. I might be a total Fruit Loop. But I'm a Fruit Loop who loves God. So it's got to count for something, right? Alright, time to bake. 3 is a pretty good number of babies to work with at one time, because I can stay busy painting 2 while 1 bake. I'm getting hungry, so I think my body's going to take a break. these parts are hot, 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 hot. Alright, so we've almost gone 90 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and go fix some breakfast. And I will advertise on the Facebook page the next time I'm planning to do a live feed. And you guys, absolutely, if there's something that you would like to see that you haven't seen yet, or that you'd like to see more of, go ahead and send me a message on Facebook, or leave me a comment on the video of what you would like to see. Alright, thanks so much guys for tuning in. I hope you have a fantastic day. Cookie, are you ready?